Now, archaeologists have discovered ancient rock carvings at the city of Mosul's monumental Mashki Gate. They include 2,700-year-old works depicting scenes from the ancient city of Nineveh.
Just minutes ago, scientists discovered the ancient tomb of the last Anunnaki king, a find that has left them completely terrorized. This incredible discovery ties back to Noah, known from biblical stories, who now appears to be a significant leader from an ancient city before a massive flood. The tomb, however, revealed far more than anticipated, hinting at groundbreaking alien technology. Intriguingly, the explorers who uncovered the tomb have vanished without a trace. Let us look deeper into why the last Anunnaki king may have stronger alien connections than we ever imagined, and the chilling mystery surrounding the explorers' disappearance. Discovering King Gilgamesh's Uruk. Now think about the story of King Gilgamesh and the ancient city he controlled. If we could go back in time to about 2700 BCE, we'd find ourselves right in the heart of Mesopotamian civilization during the early dynastic period. It looks like we could be seeing some sort of old technology being passed down. People probably moved into the area bringing new ideas and skills with them. This time in history was really important because lots of city-states were starting to pop up all over Mesopotamia. These city-states were among the first places where people lived in a complex society. Right in the middle of all this was Uruk, ruled by Gilgamesh. He was more than just a king. He became a legendary figure whose life story has blurred the lines between reality and myth. Uruk stood out among the city-states of Sumer, located along the fertile Euphrates River in what we now call Iraq. This spot is often ignored in deep ancient studies. Picture a thriving city center, alive with the buzz of markets, the grandeur of huge temple buildings, and the famous Uruk Wall, supposedly built by Gilgamesh himself. The designs are all geometrical, clear signs that someone planned and built them on purpose. There was a lot of organized effort needed for such constructions. They show not just the ability, but also the strong will of the people to make and improve their city. This ancient scenario reveals a lot about the people of Uruk. They were not just survivors. They were innovators and builders who shaped their environment to fit their needs. Their achievements in architecture and urban planning are still admired today, evident in the remains of their city. The fact that they could organize such large-scale projects tells us they were highly coordinated and driven, likely by a powerful leader who could inspire and mobilize the community. The technology they used may not seem impressive by today's standards, but for their time, it was groundbreaking. The idea that they could have been using advanced techniques or knowledge from elsewhere isn't far-fetched. This could mean that our understanding of ancient technological advancements is just the tip of the iceberg. Perhaps these early civilizations were more sophisticated than we give them credit for, using their resources and knowledge to not only survive, but thrive. As we explore these ancient cities and their legends, we can't help but wonder about the people who lived there. What were their daily lives like? How did they manage their resources, govern their people, and protect their cities from potential threats? The stories of figures like Gilgamesh enrich our understanding of these questions, providing a blend of historical and mythical insights into the leadership and culture of the time. These glimpses into ancient lives through archaeological discoveries and mythical stories like those of Gilgamesh and Noah offer a richer tapestry of our past, showing the complexities and depth of human civilization long before the modern era. They challenge us to rethink what we know about our ancestors' capabilities and achievements, making us question not just their history, but the legacy they left behind for future generations to rediscover and reinterpret. Uruk wasn't just an ordinary city. It was a titan of culture, business, and innovation, responsible for many firsts in human civilization, including the development of cuneiform writing. However, one has to ponder, what was everyday life really like under King Gilgamesh's rule? Picture a leader who wasn't just an ordinary man. He was seen as almost divine, believed to be crucial for the well-being and success of his people. Under his guidance, Uruk didn't just improve. It blossomed into a major center for religious devotion, especially for worshipping Inanna, a top deity in the Sumerian religious roster. During Gilgamesh's time, Uruk was the epitome of Sumerian excellence in building, planning, and community structure, bustling with a population that showcased its status as one of the largest and most important cities back then. During his time as king, Gilgamesh was probably the main man in charge, managing the city's administration, religious events, and military operations to keep Uruk's interests safe. His rule likely prompted the building of huge projects that did more than just make the city look majestic. They also made it stronger. These projects helped ensure that Uruk would be remembered as a key player in ancient history. If someone was just looking for a basic reflection of what humans can achieve, they might completely miss the full scale of what was accomplished here. The ongoing research and discoveries suggest that there's a renewed interest in understanding the incredible things our ancient predecessors managed to do. Digging deeper into history, King Gilgamesh emerges as an interesting mix of legend and reality, continuously intriguing both historians and archaeologists. The line between legendary hero and historical figure is often not clear, yet there are a number of archaeological hints that suggest Gilgamesh really existed within the ancient Mesopotamian world. Take the Sumerian king list, for example. This document isn't just a simple record of history. It blends historical facts with tales of gods and heroes, listing the rulers of Sumer and how long they ruled. Interestingly, Gilgamesh is mentioned in this list. His name appearing alongside other rulers suggests that he might have actually been a real king, not just a character from ancient stories. The existence of several versions of this list, found in different places and from different times, emphasizes how important it was for the Sumerians to keep track of their leaders, with Gilgamesh playing a significant role in their recorded history. Moving deeper into Uruk's ancient structures, these might reveal answers of wisdom lost over time. Tracing Gilgamesh's historical footprints. There's also physical evidence like inscriptions and artifacts. Imagine discovering a tablet or a cylinder seal with Gilgamesh's name on it. These items don't give us a complete story of his reign, but do indicate that he was acknowledged as a ruler. These pieces, found across old Sumerian sites, support the idea that Gilgamesh was remembered not just as a mythical hero, but also as an iconic figure in their culture. But here's the tricky part. Separating the real man from the legendary stories about Gilgamesh is like trying to untie a tightly knotted rope. The archaeological evidence we have doesn't spell out his life or list his achievements comprehensively. Rather, it gives us bits and pieces, leaving us to wonder about the actual details of his rule. This lack of detailed historical records makes Gilgamesh a particularly elusive figure, shrouded in the fog of ancient times. This thin historical record makes it challenging to know exactly who Gilgamesh was and what he did. While the bits of evidence like tablets and inscriptions give us clues, they don't paint a full picture. They leave many questions unanswered, fueling ongoing debates among scholars about the extent of his influence and the true nature of his legacy. Was he as powerful and wise as the legends suggest? Or have the stories grown larger and more elaborate with time? The fascination with Gilgamesh doesn't just lie in his potential historical existence, but also in what he represents about the culture and the times he lived in. His story, part history, part legend, offers a window into how the people of ancient Mesopotamia viewed their leaders and their world. They saw their kings as larger-than-life figures who were key to their survival and success. This view has persisted through millennia, influencing how we interpret and value ancient leadership and achievement today. Exploring the life and times of Gilgamesh allows us to piece together a broader picture of ancient Sumerian life. It helps us understand their values, their challenges, and their triumphs. Each new discovery in this field adds a piece to the puzzle, gradually forming a clearer image of how this civilization managed to accomplish so much. It's a reminder of the complexity of human history and the depth of our shared past. inviting us to keep looking, keep questioning, and keep exploring. The little bits of evidence we have managed to gather about the Epic of Gilgamesh do offer some intriguing links between what might be true history and what sounds like tall tales. The story of Gilgamesh is recorded on clay tablets using cuneiform, an early writing method invented by the clever Sumerians. This story isn't just another old myth. It takes us back to around 2100 BCE, to the third dynasty of Ur, although its roots dig even deeper through older Sumerian poems about Gilgamesh. Modern scholars got their hands on this story when 19th century archaeologists discovered pieces of it in the ruins of Nineveh's library. Imagine trying to put together a puzzle with ancient clay pieces, where each bit gives a small peek into a deep and moving story. Of course, some parts are forever missing, but what's left really shows the limitless imagination and enduring spirit of the people back then. Now, let's talk about Gilgamesh himself. He wasn't just any run-of-the-mill king. Described as 2/3 god and 1/3 human, he was portrayed as super strong and incredibly brave, much more than regular people and even other legendary heroes. His life, as told in the epic, is filled with wild adventures and quests for lasting fame. For instance, take his expedition to the cedar forest to fight Humbaba. It's shown as a classic example of his heroic deeds. However, it's the death of his close friend Enkidu that really turns everything upside down for him, sending him off on a desperate search for a way to live forever and making him face the harsh truth that everyone must die someday. The friendship between Enkidu and Gilgamesh is described as incredibly transformative. Enkidu was made by the gods from clay of the wild, specifically to knock some sense into Gilgamesh's over-the-top arrogance. Enkidu goes from being a wild man to becoming Gilgamesh's best friend. Their friendship is a big part of the story, showing how strong bonds with others can really change a person and lead to big revelations about life and who we are. At its core, the Epic of Gilgamesh deals with heavy themes, like the unstoppable desire for recognition and the quest for a way to avoid death, only to realize that death is a part of life that can't be escaped. The story really highlights the value of friendships and how they help shape our understanding and acceptance of being human. Throughout this sweeping tale, we encounter some of the most dramatic meetings between people and gods that you'll find in any ancient story. Gilgamesh's adventures are not just about his bravery and his search for eternal life. They delve deep into how people and gods interacted in the culture of ancient Mesopotamia. Consider his meeting with Utnapishtim, the ancient version of Noah, who survived a massive flood because a god tipped him off to build a boat. This meeting isn't just about surviving a disaster. It's a critical moment for Gilgamesh. He's on a mission to find the answer to living forever. And here's Utnapishtim, proof that the gods can let someone escape death. The story of the Great Flood isn't just an exciting tale. It shows the gods making big decisions about who gets to live or die, reflecting how powerful these divine beings were believed to be in Mesopotamian myths. Gilgamesh's interactions with gods throughout the story really highlight the ancient Mesopotamian views about the universe. For example, there's Enkidu, who was literally crafted by a goddess because the gods felt Gilgamesh needed to chill out a bit. Then there's Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, who gets really upset when Gilgamesh rejects her. Her response? Send a divine bull to cause chaos as revenge. And don't forget about Humbaba, the fearsome protector of the cedar forest, put there by the god Enlil. The battle with Humbaba isn't just a cool fight scene. It's a complex story about human desires clashing with what the gods want. As we uncover the stories of Gilgamesh, we try to find the real man behind the legendary tales. Gods and heroes of unknown Mesopotamia. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the gods are always watching and often intervening. Whether it's through creating beings like Enkidu or throwing obstacles like celestial bulls in the path, the gods of ancient Mesopotamia are deeply entwined with the fate of heroes and humans alike. This constant interplay between divine will and human ambition is a recurring theme, showing just how much the people of that time believed their lives and destinies were influenced by the whims of their gods. These tales, while full of fantastic elements, provide a window into how the ancient Sumerians saw their world, a place where humans and gods were constantly interacting, with humans often struggling to understand their place in a universe ruled by such powerful forces. Gilgamesh seems to have the sun god Shamash constantly in his corner, dishing out advice, as though he's got nothing better to do than guide heroes on Earth. It's pretty clear that the gods are unusually involved, with even Gilgamesh's mom, Ninsun, who isn't one of the top-tier goddesses, also getting involved to tip the scales for her son. This blurs the lines between normal humans and their powerful god friends up in the sky. When you take a closer look at ancient Mesopotamia, you run into the Anunnaki, a group of gods who pop up a lot in Sumerian and Akkadian tales. They seem to have a VIP status, but it's not always clear why from today's perspective. Over time, these gods ended up being represented as planets and stars, linking them directly to the sky. The Anunnaki, taking on roles like the sun, moon, and Venus, gave a holy importance to these celestial bodies, suggesting a tight connection between what happens in the sky and the actions of gods. Survivors of disasters typically fall into two categories: those who just got lucky and those who saw it coming and prepared. It's reasonable to think that someone, somewhere, might have predicted these disasters. Theories about catastrophic events on Earth are everywhere, with the Nibiru cataclysm theory and Randall Carlson's ideas about recurring disasters at the forefront. They both seem eager to plug the gaps in our knowledge with their dramatic scenarios. The Nibiru cataclysm theory talks about a rogue planet named Nibiru that supposedly visits our solar system every 3,600 years, bringing chaos through its powerful gravitational pull. This theory relies heavily on ancient writings to support its claims of dramatic upheavals from this outer space visitor. Conversely, Randall Carlson supports his theory with solid evidence from geology and astronomy. He suggests that natural disasters like comet collisions, volcanic eruptions, and ice age events are the real reasons behind the dramatic changes on Earth. Carlson, a self-taught geologist and mythology enthusiast, believes these natural occurrences have been shaping our planet for a long time, while the Nibiru theory pins all the global chaos on a single mythical rogue planet. One can't help but wonder if there's a bit of truth to a connection between Earth's disasters and this so-called Nibiru. There must have been something that caused the noticeable shifts in climate we observe. The name Nibiru itself, deeply rooted in ancient mythology, not only ties back to the fascination with the stars, but also makes us think about how ancient cultures understood and related to the surrounding universe. This mingling of gods with human affairs, whether it's Shamash acting as a celestial advisor or Ninsun meddling on behalf of her son, showcases the intricate and personal nature of divine-human interactions in these ancient stories. These tales, filled with divine interventions and godly drama, reflect a world where the lines between the earth and the heavens were frequently crossed. The role of the Anunnaki in these narratives, evolving from direct godly interventions to symbolic celestial representations, illustrates the evolving understanding of divinity. This transformation from active participants in human affairs to representations in the night sky shows a cultural shift in how people viewed the influence and presence of the divine in their daily lives. On the survival side, the distinction between those who lucked out and those who were prepared suggests a deeper understanding of resilience and foresight in ancient times. The ability to predict and prepare for disaster speaks volumes about the observational skills and planning capabilities of past civilizations. Discussing theories like Nibiru's catastrophic visits or Carlson's pattern of natural cataclysms invites us to reflect on how we interpret signs from the past and present in our ongoing attempt to understand the natural world and our place within it. These theories, while filling gaps in our knowledge, also challenge us to consider the accuracy and origins of our historical and scientific narratives. As these discussions unfold, they not only enrich our understanding of ancient myths, but also connect us more deeply with the timeless human endeavor to make sense of the unpredictable and often chaotic natural world. If we take a closer look at ancient Sumer, it seems like they were always in the process of figuring things out again, trying to stitch together knowledge from the past. There's a modern tendency to think we're light years ahead of our ancestors in smarts and technology. Nibiru, tied to the god Marduk, who was a big shot in the Babylonian religious scene, symbolized power, holiness, and the way things are ordered in the universe. This connection points to Nibiru's hefty role in religious writings and its critical influence on Babylonian astronomy and calendar systems. In the eyes of the Babylonians, Nibiru was not just any star. It was the zenith of the ecliptic, pinpointing the position of the summer solstice. This point wasn't chosen randomly. It was crucial for maintaining their calendar, which in turn affected when they planted crops and held religious festivals. The Babylonian stargazers relied on their knowledge of where Nibiru would be to set the timing for planting seeds and celebrating gods, making these star paths a central part of daily life, exploring how gods were deeply involved in human lives, shaping the destinies of ancient civilizations. The hidden celestial myths that transformed Phaethon. The stories of Nibiru in Mesopotamia and Phaethon in Greek mythology are intriguing because they show how ancient cultures tried to understand the universe. Phaethon, linked to the sun god Helios, was believed to drive the sun's chariot across the sky. Both the Nibiru and Phaethon tales emphasize the important roles that stars and planets played in the ancient understanding of time and space, illustrating a widespread belief that celestial bodies significantly influenced or controlled the basic patterns of life on Earth. Zecharia Sitchin's book, The 12th Planet, which came out in 1976, mixed ancient myths, astronomy, and ideas about aliens into a story that's as captivating as it is controversial. Sitchin introduced the world to Nibiru, a hidden planet he claimed swings through our solar system on a highly elongated orbit every 3,600 years. But where did he get such a wild idea? According to him, it was from ancient Sumerian cuneiform tablets, which he interpreted as documenting this 12th celestial body, if you count the sun and moon. This fascination with linking ancient myths to astronomical discoveries often overshadows simpler explanations, opting instead for a narrative that suggests our ancestors held cosmic insights that might even surpass today's knowledge. Sitchin's interpretations and his keenness to connect celestial patterns to alien activity draw skepticism, particularly from the scientific community, who look for more solid proof than speculative readings of ancient texts. The enduring appeal of tying together ancient inscriptions and celestial events speaks to a blend of nostalgia for the past and a curiosity about the cosmos. It reflects our ongoing desire to uncover a grander story among the stars, one where humans are not just Earth dwellers, but participants in a vast, interstellar drama. Whether these connections hold water or are just products of our imagination, they feed a narrative that continues to enchant and at times lead astray those seeking to understand our place in the cosmos. This narrative isn't just about understanding, it's about belonging. It taps into a deep-seated need to feel part of something bigger than ourselves, to believe that our ancestors weren't just surviving, but were keyed into a universe filled with wonders that we're only beginning to rediscover. Through tales of gods like Marduk and celestial phenomena like Nibiru, ancient peoples crafted a worldview that intertwined their daily lives with the movements of celestial bodies. This blend of the divine and the astronomical in stories from Sumer to Babylon shows a sophisticated level of engagement with the heavens, something that goes beyond mere observation to a deeper, almost personal interaction with the cosmos. It wasn't just about tracking stars for practical purposes like agriculture or navigation. It was also about understanding their place in a cosmos full of gods and powers that controlled everything from the rising sun to the changing seasons. As we dig through layers of history and decode ancient scripts, we're reminded that our quest to map the heavens and make sense of the celestial signs is not new. It's a pursuit that has captivated humans for millennia, from the plains of Mesopotamia to the modern observatories that scan the deep reaches of space. Each discovery, each theory, no matter how outlandish, threads us closer to those ancient stargazers who first charted the stars with wonder and awe, looking for answers in the night sky. Sitchin's big idea revolves around the Anunnaki, a group of advanced aliens from a distant planet called Nibiru. He believes they came to Earth about 450,000 years ago. According to his theory, these aliens didn't just stop by for a visit. They actually made early humans by tweaking their genes to help them mine gold. Sitchin says this gold mining was crucial for the aliens' home planet. He also claims that the smart space skills of the Sumerians, like knowing about Nibiru's path, were taught to them by these alien ancestors. Sitchin came up with the idea that Nibiru swings by every 3,600 years, based on his own reading of how the Sumerians counted and thought about time. Despite no real proof from the wider science community to back up the existence of Nibiru or any impact it has on Earth, the idea has caught the fancy of quite a few people. It has sparked some wild guesses linking Nibiru to big disasters on Earth, suggesting that its pull could send comets and asteroids flying toward us, which could end up in massive destruction. There's a noticeable bunch of events that happened around 13,000 years ago that Sitchin points to in his stories. He draws an interesting line connecting his ideas to those of Immanuel Velikovsky, particularly what Velikovsky wrote in the 1950s in Worlds in Collision. Both thinkers turned to old texts, interpreting them as tales of huge cosmic events that changed early human history and the stories we tell about it. But while Velikovsky focused on cosmic crashes closer to home, within our solar system, Sitchin went further out, bringing in the Anunnaki and their hard-to-see home, Nibiru. Both of their theories don't really fit with what most scientists believe, but they offer a fascinating possibility. Maybe the ancient stories we have contain deeper truths about our universe and where we come from than we usually think. Here we are, stuck between old myths and the bits and pieces of scientific evidence that suggest Earth has been hit by big space rocks before. As we approach the end of the Mayan long count calendar, in December 2012, there was a lot of talk about the world possibly ending. Nibiru, this strange and unseen planet, was rumored to be heading straight for us. This stirred up a mix of old prophecies, new conspiracy theories, and guesses about the stars that had people all over the world thinking we might be close to the end. Looking beyond myths, we might find clues that link ancient star knowledge to massive changes on Earth. Is Nibiru real science, or just a big lie? The idea that Nibiru could be out there and could really be a threat to us combines a bunch of old beliefs with new fears. It's fascinating how tales from the past, things we read in old stones and tablets, can get tangled up with today's internet-fueled rumors and end up scaring everyone. Could it be real? Well, Sitchin and others like him certainly think so, even though they don't have the science to prove it. They look at old myths and see them as more than just stories. They believe these tales have actual information about real events that affected our planet. Think about it. If it's true, it means our history books might need some updating. It means that our past isn't just what happened on Earth, but also involves visitors from beyond our world who shaped who we are today. It's an idea that pulls at the imagination, making us wonder about the stars and our place among them. Whether you buy into it or not, it certainly makes for good stories. And in 2012, when people thought the world might be ending because of this hidden planet, it wasn't just fear that spread. It was also a wonder, a curiosity about the cosmos and our connection to it. People were drawn to the story not just because it was scary, but because it was a link to something bigger, something beyond our everyday lives. The story floating around is that Nibiru, a planet not visible to our best astronomers, but supposedly spotted by a few in the know, was predicted to either crash into Earth or pass so close it could stir up trouble with its gravity. NASA, not usually one to jump into doomsday talks, took a rare step for a science group. It addressed these end-of-world claims head-on. The space agency was clear. There's no evidence that Nibiru exists, nor any looming threats from space. If such a massive planet were zooming toward us, it would have been seen by the many professionals and hobbyists who spend nights scanning the skies. Even NASA's extensive searches in space, using tools like the Wide Field Infrared Survey Explorer, have turned up nothing that resembles the supposed Nibiru. Enter Randall Carlson, a self-made geologist with a focus on major disasters that have repeatedly reshaped our planet. He's dug deep into Earth's geological records and found evidence of big, dramatic changes like sudden shifts in climate, huge floods, and impacts from comets. His research offers a detailed view of Earth's rough-and-tumble history and how these big events have impacted human civilizations. This raises an interesting point. If Nibiru were real, could it fit into this pattern of disasters? Some might wonder if its long, drawn-out orbit might sync up with these devastating times, maybe even causing them by pulling comets or other space rocks our way. Still, most scientists see these big events as part of Earth's natural processes and known space phenomena. Big asteroid hits, giant volcanic eruptions, and shifts between ice ages are all recognized as parts of Earth's dynamic history, attributed to natural causes rather than some unseen planet's influence. The ongoing debate between fringe theories like Nibiru and serious scientific study into Earth's history of major upheavals shows just how much humans are intrigued by the idea of cosmic catastrophes. It uncovers our deep interest in the forces that have shaped and continue to affect our planet. While one side of this discussion leans into the realm of myths and less than solid science, the other side works hard using proven methods in geology and astronomy to uncover what really makes our world tick. These two approaches highlight our continuous quest to understand the big, sometimes catastrophic events in Earth's history and the grand scale of space activity. So why do these apocalyptic theories catch on? Part of it might be the thrill of thinking about cosmic danger. When someone throws out a scary prediction like Nibiru hitting Earth, it grabs attention. People are drawn to these stories, even if there's no real evidence, because they tap into a basic human fascination with what lies beyond our planet. This fascination isn't just about fear, it's also about wonder and the endless possibilities of what might be out there in the vast universe. At the same time, this interest in potential disasters from space can make people more aware of the real, science-based threats we face, like climate change and environmental destruction, which are happening right here and now. In a way, these wild space disaster theories could help by getting more people to think about Earth's environment, even if the initial reason is a bit far-fetched. The contrast between what's proven and what's purely speculative offers a broad canvas for discussions about our place in the universe and the real risks we should be preparing for. While NASA and other scientific bodies work to demystify the science and separate fact from fiction, the conversation itself, fueled by both legitimate research and speculative ideas, keeps the public engaged. It's a blend of myth-making and meticulous scientific inquiry, each feeding into our ongoing narrative about Earth and its place in the cosmos. This dialogue not only deepens our understanding, but also keeps alive the sense of unknown and excitement about the universe and our role within it. Could the Anunnaki kings have possessed technologies beyond our current understanding? What do you think? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the unknown.